Hi, I'm Jill. Welcome to Greenwood, my tiny hometown. A beautiful forest hid us from the hustle and bustle of megacities. Greenwood was also surrounded by magnificent lakes. By the way, where are you from? Tell me in the comments down below. And don't forget to like my story and subscribe to the Private Diary channel. My dad was a climate activist. He often organized environmental protests all over the country, but no matter how busy he was, he never missed a chance to spend time with me. Remember, Jill, the earth is our home, and we must take care of it, my little warrior princess. Dad taught me to be strong and never give up. But unfortunately, a couple of years ago, he passed away. I decided to continue in his footsteps and became an eco-activist. There was a small group of us in my hometown. We became a real pain in the butt for a local businessman, Mr. Stewart. His factory polluted the air in Greenwood. They dumped the waste right into our lakes. Mr. Stewart was powerful and most citizens were afraid of messing with him. But we often staged protests and turned the life of that greedy bastard into a living hell. For example, one day he decided to cut down dear old Bob. That's what we called the oldest tree in our city. Old Bob was Greenwood's legendary symbol. Mr. Stewart wanted to cut it down and build a golf course in its place. But my friends and I didn't care for that. We climbed up in the tree and refused to get down. Why is the tree still here? Sir, a girl is sitting in it. Hello, Mr. Stewart. I'm not gonna get down until you promise to leave the tree alone. Ugh, it's that stubborn girl again. I didn't leave my post at night despite the downpour. My friends brought me food and hot tea. Hey, Jill, you doing all right up there? I'm great, Marcus. Catch this homemade pie then. A week later, journalists found out about my protest and came to film me. The story made news and caused a stir. Afraid of the backlash, Mr. Stewart promised not to touch old Bob. I became a local celebrity after that, but I couldn't breathe a sigh of relief. I had no doubt that one day Mr. Stewart would try and get back at me. And I was right. Soon, he organized a lavish dinner party at his mansion. All sorts of bigwigs were invited to it. Some even flew in on a private jet. Can you believe it? That guy clearly thinks he's the king of the world. It didn't take a genius to figure out that Mr. Stewart threw the party for a reason. I'm sure they're gonna discuss their insidious plans. Marcus, we need to sneak in there. How though? I might have an idea. I changed into a waitress uniform, walked into the mansion, and blended into the crowd. As I served drinks to the guests, I eavesdropped on their conversations and tried to sniff out what they were planning. I was very careful, but the rich guy that arrived on the private jet noticed me anyway. It turned out his name was Kurt. You look familiar, gorgeous. You must have mistaken me for someone else. Oh, I know. I saw you on the news. You're that psycho Jill who lived up in a tree. I don't do autographs. I like sassy girls like you. Why don't we run away from this boring party? And I'll let you enjoy my company. Oh, I know people like you. You think you can buy anything just because you've got millions in your account. But I'm not for sale. Spoiled jerks like you are not my type. Besides, you and your parents came to Greenwood on a private jet. Do you have any idea how much those harm the environment? Oh, so you're all principled, huh? Everyone has their price. Not me. Ugh, you're such a goody two-shoes. It's boring. I'll tell my uncle there's a spy here. He walked up to Mr. Stewart and pointed at me. Kurt was my enemy's nephew. Mr. Stewart was furious and told his huge security guards to kick me out of the mansion. In the end, I didn't find out what they were planning. Soon, I received an anonymous email. Here's what it said. Hi, Jill. You don't know me, but I've always admired eco-activists. Unfortunately, my parents would never let me join you. I saw you save that tree on the news. And now, I need your help. I go to the private boarding school Elite. There's a nature reserve next to it. I found out that someone wants to destroy the reserve and build a spa resort for the rich in its place. Please come here and stop this madness. I thought it was a prank. However, the next day, I got a call from that private school. Someone had anonymously paid for a semester of my studies there. A semester? I would have to stay there until graduation. I Googled the school and found out that the elite boarding school was located on an island near Greenwood. There really was a nature reserve not far from it. I wonder who sent me that email. Marcus and my other friends didn't want me to leave, but I wasn't about to back down. Moreover, my mom thought going there would be good for me. After all, it was a very prestigious school. So I packed and was on my way. As soon as I arrived, I was surrounded by luxury. And it was no wonder. The parents of the students there were filthy rich. What pissed me off was that all the students' phones were taken away. That was such a dumb rule. I'm the principal and biology teacher at this school, Miss Sullivan. Give me your phone and welcome to the elite, Jill. Ma'am, I'd like to know who paid for my studies here. I'm sorry, but they wished for their identity to remain a secret. Whatever. I didn't doubt that I'd find out the truth sooner or later. I left my bags in my room and decided to take a look around my new school. I immediately noticed a guy who was sitting alone and reading a book about nature. One of the students said his name was Archie. He had really strict parents and was very quiet and withdrawn as a result. The gears in my head spun, and I realized that Archie could be the person who sent me that email and paid my tuition. There was only one way to find out. I had to ask him. However, I'd only taken one step toward him when I bumped into a ripped guy. Kurt, what are you doing here? I study here, baby. This school is only for the rich. So what are you doing here? That's none of your business. I'm the king of this school. You shouldn't be so rude to me. Yeah, whatever. Get out of my way already. He finally let me through, but Archie had already left by then. That narcissistic jerk Kurt became my classmate. Can you imagine? It turned out he really was considered the king of the school. Both girls and boys adored him. Naturally, it had gone to Kurt's head. He didn't respect anyone. I immediately realized we would always keep fighting like cats and dogs. Okay, never mind, Kurt. I'm here to save the reserve. Except, I didn't know where to start. Each time I tried to talk to Archie, he acted weird, like he was terrified someone would see us together. Hi, we need to talk. Did you write that email and invite me here? I'm running late for class, sorry. Yeah, there was definitely something weird going on at this school. In a few days, I still hadn't made any progress on the investigation, and I felt exhausted. One evening, someone slipped an anonymous note under my door that said, "Take a closer look at the principal." I looked out into the hallway, but I didn't see anyone there. Still, I didn't doubt Archie was the author of the note. After that tip-off, I started to watch Ms. Sullivan. And then, one day after biology class, I saw her take out her phone like she was about to call someone. All the students left the classroom, but I pressed against the door to eavesdrop. Everything is going according to plan. I'm going to make a good deal and get rich soon. Dang it! Ms. Sullivan was really the villain who wanted to sell the reserve? As soon as she left the classroom, I slipped inside and started to rummage through her purse, hoping to find some evidence of her guilt. But there was nothing suspicious in it. Unfortunately, I was so focused, I didn't notice Kurt walking in. What the heck? Someone should have hung a bell around his neck so he wouldn't be able to sneak up on people. I thought he would make fun of me, but instead he just smiled like he knew something I didn't and silently left. About an hour after that, Ms. Sullivan told all the students to come to the gym, and I wondered what was going on. At recess today, one of you stole all the money from my purse, and I think I know who it was. Of course, I became the prime suspect. After all, I was the only student from a poor family there. And then Kurt whispered in my ear, "Hey, Jill, let's make a deal. You'll work for me until we graduate, and I'll cover for you." What? I wanted to make him pay just for the sheer audacity of saying that. But if I got accused of theft and kicked out of the boarding school, I wouldn't be able to uncover the conspiracy. Jeez, Kurt was really something. Time seemed to stop while I thought. In the end, I agreed to Kurt's terms. Smart girl. Miss Sullivan, Jill couldn't have done it. We spent recess kissing in the yard. What a moron! He could have come up with another alibi for me. Ugh. But what mattered was it worked, and the principal stopped suspecting me. From that day on, my life was turned upside down. I had to hang around the most annoying guy in the world and pander to his every whim. Jill, it's so hot here. Blow on me. Are you kidding me? Do you want to get kicked out of the elite? Ugh. I wanted to pour a bucket of cold water on him to cool him off, but I had to grit my teeth and endure it. He also constantly made me cover for him because he was dating several girls at the same time. Kurt's busy right now. Come back later. Hey, you wannabe king. I've done everything you asked me to. Don't forget to do my homework for me, and then you're free for the day. Ugh. It made my blood boil. Besides, being a maid was taking up all the time I could have spent investigating. I was close to giving up and going back home when I received another anonymous note. This time, I was even fast enough to see Archie running away down the hallway. Instead of trying to catch up to him, I unfolded the note. The principal is putting the money she got for selling the reserve into a safe as you're reading this. I had to see if he was telling the truth, except there was no safe and no money. Ms. Sullivan was eating donuts when I found her. I got several more anonymous notes, but every time, all the evidence turned out to be false. All my attempts to get Archie to talk ended in complete failure. I won't be able to save the reserve if you don't help me. Sorry, I have a stomachache. Must be something I ate. Let me through. Is he serious? I was sick and tired of it all. I wanted to ask Marcus for advice, but I couldn't text him because of the stupid rule about phones. I wondered what Dad would have done if he was there. And then, one day, the crazy king of the school came up with another task for me. The boys and I are throwing a barbecue party. I want you to put on a chicken costume and come with me. That's not happening. By the way, why do you even want me to be your maid, huh? Any other girl at this school would do anything for you to notice them. Yeah, but that's too easy. You're the only girl who didn't fall for my charm. No one says no to me and then gets away with it, so you can only blame yourself. If you'd stop acting like Casanova for a second and talk to me like a real person, maybe we could have been friends. Tell the principal you saw me rummaging through her purse if you want. Let her expel me. I don't care anymore. I'm done. With those words, I proudly went to my room. I was really ready to get kicked out of the elite. My investigation had reached a dead end. But then, yet another note was pushed under my door. This time, I managed to catch Archie by the arm before he could escape. Let me go. I need to go. Not so fast, buddy. The new note said Ms. Sullivan was about to go to the pier and sell the reserve. Archie, is this true? Let me go, please. Heck no! You're the reason I'm here! So you're gonna come with me and help catch the principal red-handed. I had nothing to do with you coming here. Someone else asked me to bring these notes here. Wait, who was it? But Archie was a tough nut to crack and wouldn't say. Ugh. I was wasting time and I had to let him go. Okay, I'll go to the pier alone and deal with everything else later. And then I saw Kurt in the hallway. He'd been standing there for a long time and seemed to have heard everything. Jill, I've been thinking about your words. I really was acting like a jerk. I'd never met such a cool and confident girl before you, and I just wanted you to like me. I don't know what investigation you were talking about, but I'd like to help you. Let me prove that I'm a good guy. Did I trust him? No. But I could really use his help. Okay, Mr. Handsome, let's go. This is your last chance, though. A few minutes later, we were at the pier. A guy in an expensive suit stepped off a boat and handed Mrs. Sullivan some documents. She quickly signed them, and that guy handed her a suitcase full of money. Hooray! I'm finally rich. Aha, gotcha. Jill, Kurt, what are you doing here? We know you sold the reserve. You should be ashamed of yourself. What? What are you talking about? I sold the house I inherited. That man's my lawyer, and the reserve is under state protection. No one can sell it. I quickly looked through the documents she was holding and made sure that she was telling the truth. Had I received yet another fake tip-off? My head was spinning. I didn't understand what was going on. Who lured me to that island and why? The question was haunting me. Ms. Sullivan, please, I need to know who paid for my studies at the elite. I've already told you, your patron forbade us from revealing their identity. Ugh! I was tired of secrets, and I asked Kurt to help me sneak into the principal's office. We could get into trouble, but whatever. Let's do it. Luckily, Mrs. Sullivan's computer was not password protected. It didn't take me long to find the name of my patron. For a long time, I couldn't believe my eyes. What? Mr. Stewart paid my tuition? Kurt, did you know about this? Well, all right, yeah, I did. My uncle asked me to keep quiet about it, but I think I finally bought him enough time. Besides, I've been dying to see the look on your face when you find out the truth. He told me gleefully that he had stolen the principal's money to frame me and make me work for him. But that wasn't even the worst part. The whole story about the reserve is fake. My uncle sent you that email and paid for your studies. And then I made Archie bring you suspicious notes so you wouldn't leave the school. Why would Mr. Stewart want me to leave Greenwood? What is he up to? I wouldn't want to ruin the surprise. You're just a pathetic puppet of your uncle. My stomach was in knots. I opened the drawer where the principal kept the students' phones and I found mine. When I turned it on, I saw a bunch of missed calls from Marcus. My heart sank and I called my friend. Oh wow, you finally deigned to call me back. I told you you shouldn't have gone to that fancy boarding school. The city's in chaos. Marcus told me that Mr. Stewart had made a deal with some big shots at the dinner party, and now they were gonna cut down the forest around Greenwood to build a new highway. Mr. Stewart was afraid I'd kick up a storm again and thwart his plans. That's why he tricked me into going to the boarding school. Dang it, I was tricked. I'm going back to Greenwood at once. Hurry up, they're starting this weekend. I put my phone away and was about to run to the pier when I heard Kurt snicker. What's so funny? Look at the time, the last ferry's already left. Ugh, he was right. The next one would only arrive on Monday. Would I be stuck on the island all weekend? I really do like you, you wacko. If you ask me nicely, I'll call my private jet here. You'll be in Greenwood in no time. I told you, I'm not for sale. Suit yourself. I felt incredibly helpless, and I spent the evening wallowing in my room. Something terrible is about to happen to my hometown, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not as cool as my fearless dad. Maybe it's time to give up. Eventually, I fell asleep. I saw my dad in a dream. We were sitting in a field under a starry sky and talking just like we used to in the good old days. My little warrior princess, Mr. Stewart sent you out of town because he sees you as a threat. You're strong. He's afraid of your power. Don't give up. I woke up determined to fight for justice once again. Thank you, Dad. I checked my phone and I posted a story all about Mr. Stewart's crimes. I hoped it would touch people's hearts, but I was in for a disappointment. The video barely got any views. Well, at least I tried. When I came back to town after the weekend, I was bracing myself to see machines cutting down trees, but it was quiet and peaceful. Wow, how was that possible? On the way home, I saw Marcus and my other friends. They told me that some cool people from the neighboring big city suddenly appeared when Mr. Stewart's people were just about to get to work. Their lawyers proved that the logging was illegal and the forest was saved. I can't believe this! Who are those amazing people? Come on, I'll introduce you to their leader. Marcus took me to a diner and I saw a serious man drinking coffee. When he saw me, he smiled amiably. We haven't met, Jill, but your dad and I were colleagues. He was a real hero. When I saw a video from his daughter asking for help, I made a few calls to the right people. Thank you, sir. Tears of joy stung my eyes. It felt like Dad was still there and helping me like a guardian angel. Mr. Stewart was finally sent to prison for all of his crimes. Soon after that, I read in an article on the internet that Kurt had convinced his parents to sell their private jet and took up charity work. After a while, he called me. Jill, I've been thinking a lot. I'm a different person now. Give me another chance. Sorry, Kurt, that's not gonna happen. But now I know my efforts weren't in vain. At least one rich snob has changed. Good luck. Everything that happened makes me believe that if I stay true to myself and my principles, come hell or high water, justice will prevail. Earth is our home, guys. Let's take care of it together. Come back for more videos on the Private Diary channel.